Last year we came out with something called our Design Suite Daily Planner, and it was based off of a planner that I had built specifically for my Design Suite designers so they could stay on track with their business and still have all the dream planning. Well, with this year being all about the year of possibilities, I was like, you know what? I really want to create some kind of hardbound book for that. And so I thought I would take you along the way so that you could kind of see how I build these and design them and then put them on Amazon so that we can sell them, that we can buy them specifically for our designers as well. So I hope you like this process.
So as you guys well know, I love Illustrator and I really like Photoshop. And if I can design in those two programs, that's what I usually design in. So every time I have to do a book, I have to do this little wrestle with myself to tell myself to be cool with InDesign because it just makes a lot more sense to build this whole thing out in InDesign. So I'm using similar, actually the first 5 questions and the same 20 sections that I did for my printable that I created. So it's like a digital download, right? But this one I had to add another question. And the reason I added a question is because I really wanted to lay out where there were 3 questions on each side. And so it just laid out prettier than an odd number. Could I have maybe done just 4 questions and done 2 per page? Yes. But a lot of the questions are ones that maybe I wouldn't write as much on. And so because of that, I decided that I needed to set this thing up with 6 questions per section, and there are still 20 sections. The other thing I decided to do is go for a very standard Amazon size, which is 9x6. That's the size of both of my books, Make Art That Sells and Design, Profit, and Prosper. And I really love that size, especially for journaling. Our Design Suite Daily Planner right now only comes in a 7x10, and I hope I'll change that. I'm thinking we'll have some 9x6 books available eventually in that. But right now it's because of the way it lays out, because it's a full year that you can set up in it, and because of the way that the calendaring lays out in it, it just makes a lot of sense for it to be a much bigger book. So a 9x6 book for a more of a journal-based book, I think makes a lot more sense. I also didn't want it to be too incredibly thick. So as I was kind of laying it out, I was really keeping in mind how many pages this entire piece was going to be. I really wanted it to be just right around 100 because I knew that that would be manageable and you could take it places with you. So the first thing I did was I put in the sections. I really wanted a full page spread per section, which meant it's a little bit weird to not start on the right hand side of the page for like the questions. Instead, I started on the left hand side. So I knew that meant that I would probably have to put some kind of like long paragraph, some kind of information about what a possibilities journal was all about. So that was going to be really kind of like the first page in the whole book. And then after that, it spreads so that one page is section 1, and then section 2, and then section 3 until you did all 20 sections. This does take a long time to lay out because you are copying and pasting all of the information in since it's content-based, but the actual layout was pretty fast to make. I just created parent pages for it, and then I did an override and was able to add in all of the question information. So it was pretty easy when it comes to like setting it up. And this is why I love InDesign, because if you can create really great parent pages, the rest of it really is quick. I'm also really loving this paragraph style where I create lines. So, you know, in Illustrator, you have to create the line and then you're copying and pasting, and then you have to do a spacing situation. This is all set up in that paragraph style, which is so nice. And I'm just duplicating over and copying from the paragraph styles that I used from my Year of Possibility printables that I made, which you can watch in another YouTube video. So once I laid out all of the questions, I had those parent pages were nice and done, and I wasn't going to add a lot of extra to it. The reason was because this is more of like a book style. I didn't want a lot of extra things, and I didn't want to set up bleeds for these pages for the printer. It's just a nice clean book so I can use it on the inside, and I'm going to put all the creativity in the covers, like different surface patterns that will look really good. So instead, what I had to do was, once I got all the questions done, I had to decide what else was going to go into this book, because this only took up about, 40, 45, 43 pages or so. So I was like, well, what would I want in here? First of all, I really wanted it to be more of a journal. So I knew I needed journal pages. But before that, I was like, I think I need a bucket list page. I don't have a place where I have kept a bucket list of everything I want to do. And even a bucket list page would be awesome for my big folder for my year of possibilities. So I thought, let's just put at least 100 bucket list pages in here that are numbered 1 through 100. Well, as I kind of laid it out, I kind of figured out that it ended, if I was doing my full page spreads again, it ended on 96, and that just wasn't going to work. So it goes to like 120 or so as I kind of laid it all out, and I felt just fine about that, because I think the whole idea of possibilities is that there really are a lot of possibilities, and so I want to be able to write as many down as I possibly can. Once I was done with all of those bucket list pages, then I added regular, what I would call journal pages, with a date at the top and a line. And I filled this out so that there was at least 60 or so pages, so that there was plenty of room for lots of dates and writing. I don't really look at this as like an everyday journal. If I'm writing an everyday journal, then I want a journal that all it is dates and writing. I don't really want a lot of prompts or questions that I have to answer. This is a little different than that. I think it's more of like an inspirational book. And so I have all these notebook pages that I created so that as I'm writing things, if something gets exciting to me, or I start thinking about it, or I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to do that, then I could just put a date in and write a page or two if I want to about why I want to do that thing and why I am inspired to do it. It also allows me to write down things that inspire me, like podcasts or videos or a show, and why it inspires me and what I want to do with it. So I tend to find that when I write things all the way out, I remember it better, and I also can build a clearer vision for what I want to do. And that's really what a possibilities journal is all about, is building a very clear vision of where you want to take your life so that you feel like you're in control of your life. And so that's why I think all these notebook pages are going to be really awesome. These were super easy to put together. It's just like copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, and paste. And then it was all about kind of finishing out this inside book. So there were a few lingering things I needed to take care of. The first was like, what did I want the home page or the front page to look like? And I wanted it to match the outside. Normally I'm all about trying different shapes, but I wanted there to be consistency between these new books that I'm doing, as well as the Design Suite Daily Planner. So I decided to just use that, and we called these Design Suite Possibility Journals because I know that my members will be using them. Of course, anyone can buy them because they're on Amazon, so anyone can use them. And we tried to put videos explaining why we did everything we did and how to use them on our page, designsuitecourses.com/dailyplanner. And so anybody can read up or see anything about any of these journals and how to use them. But I think it's really helpful that I know that my Design Suite planners or designers are using it and teaching them how to use it, because that's the demographic of people that I know are really going to take full advantage of this and make something big out of their lives. So it's pretty exciting to see them do these cool things. All right, so other things I needed to add, like QR codes, maybe a little more information. And then once that was done, I just saved this as a PDF. Next up was figuring out the cover. Now, the cover in Amazon, if you're doing it with Amazon, is a little more complicated. You do need a KDP account, and we have one because we publish self-published books there, and we've got planners and other things there. And so getting this started does take a little while. Thankfully for me, since I've done several of these books, it didn't take me very long to set it up. Basically, you do need to go to your KDP page and then go find cover requirements, and it will shoot out for you. It's actually incredible. It'll shoot out for you information about your cover and how big it needs to be. So I just did that online and was able to get a PDF and a PNG of my exact number of pages, because your spine on your cover is going to be different depending on that, and what your cover size needs to be. From there, it's pretty easy. Amazon will put an ISBN directly, or a UPC, I'm not sure which one, I think an ISBN, on your book. So I never worry about that piece. Instead, I worry about making the cover really pretty, that it has essential information. So if you needed to come find me and figure out what to do with this book, you knew where to go for that. And that's it. And the cool thing is I was able to create several variations of the cover so that people can choose the cover that they like. And it's pretty easy because the inside is the same. Then it's just writing descriptions, choosing, where the books can be located or purchased from. And then once you have all of that set up, it's ready to go. The one thing with Amazon is it does take a second for them to publish. And so once you hit publish on this whole thing, they go through a process to make sure that it's correct and that it works. This is considered a low volume product because it doesn't have a lot of writing in it. Like a book usually has a lot of ink. This is low volume because it's a lot of just lines, right? So I always like to set it up as a low volume book, and once it's ready to go, it's just ready to go on Amazon, and then people can find it and purchase it and hopefully come up with amazing things that they can do with these possibility journals. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you like watching me design. If there are other types of things you wish you could see me design, I would happily do a YouTube video on it. You just have to leave a comment for me. And as always, if you subscribe to the channel, it helps so much because it lets me know that you like the stuff that we're creating, and we'll make more of it. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I will see you soon.